Okay, so have you ever, like, thought about what it would be like to actually step into your favorite fantasy world?
To become your character.
Yeah, and experience those adventures, like, firsthand.
It's a tempting thought, right?
Oh, totally.
To just leave behind all the boring stuff.
Yeah.
And just embrace the extraordinary.
It makes me think about just the other night. My D&D group was in this, like, epic battle.
Oh, wow.
Against a horde of goblins.
Okay.
And my character,
Pip.
she's a halfling bard.
Nice bard.
Yeah, and she was supposed to distract them with a song
Okay.
while the rest of the party, like, snuck up.
Oh, so a distraction.
Yeah, for a surprise attack.
Gotcha.
But, well, let's just say my real-life singing voice
All right.
isn't exactly bard college material.
Okay.
The goblins weren't exactly, like, enthralled.
I see.
And Pip ended up getting chased around the battlefield.
Oh.
Not quite the heroic image I was going for.
That's hilarious.
It's pretty funny.
It reminds me of this one time I was playing a wizard, and I was trying to impress these villagers with some pyrotechnics.
Ooh, pyrotechnics.
Yeah, you know, trying to show off a bit.
Sure.
But the spell backfired,
Oh, no.
and I set the mayor's haystack on fire.
Oh, my gosh.
The villagers were not impressed.
I bet.
Not a good look for my wizard.
No, not at all.
But it does kind of make you think
Yeah.
about what would happen if the lines between fantasy and reality got blurred.
Totally.
What if we had to deal with the real consequences
Yeah, like what?
of our actions in the game?
That's kind of the question that Paul Bellow dives into in his article on LitRPG Reads
Okay.
about turning the Guardians of the Flame book series into a D&D campaign.
Oh, cool.
And it's not just about the fun of, you know, being your character.
Right.
It's about facing the moral complexities
Yeah.
of that world.
That makes sense.
So for anyone who hasn't read Guardians of the Flame,
Okay.
it's about a group of college students who get transported.
Into their D&D game.
Wow.
And they become their characters for real.
Oh, that's cool.
But the world they end up in,
Yeah.
it's not exactly a paradise. It's a world that's deeply rooted in slavery.
Oh, wow.
And this isn't just some, like, background detail. This is, like, the main conflict
Okay.
that players would have to deal with.
That's interesting.
Like, how would they handle that?
Yeah.
You know, being dropped into this world where slavery is just a normal part of life.
I love how the article jumps right into that
Yeah.
in the section called From Players to Heroes.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
It talks about, like, that initial shock
Oh, yeah.
of waking up
Yeah.
and suddenly you've got superhuman strength,
Right.
or you can cast magic spells.
Or you've got these skills you never had before.
Right, but at the same time, you have to face, like,
The real danger.
the real dangers of this world.
Right. It's not a game anymore.
Exactly.
It's like suddenly the stakes are real. And there's a table in the article that I really like.
Okay.
It lists different D&D classes
Mhm.
and what immediate challenges they would face.
Oh, that's cool.
Like, for example, a warrior
Okay.
might be super strong,
Yeah.
but they might not have the leadership skills
Right.
to inspire
They
others.
have to actually lead.
Exactly. Or a mage might have incredible magical power,
Uh-huh.
but struggle to control it.
Oh, so, like, responsibility comes into play.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It makes you think about the burden of those abilities.
Yeah.
Not just how cool they are.
Right.
It's not just about the game mechanics anymore.
Yeah.
It's about the psychology,
Okay.
the ethics.
The real weight of it.
Exactly. You have real power now
Uh-huh.
in a world where your actions have real consequences.
Right.
And that's where the fight against slavery section comes in.
Okay.
This D&D campaign.
Yeah.
It's not just about going on quests
Right?
and killing monsters.
Yeah.
It's about taking on this system that's like built into the fabric of society.
Wow.
It's about dismantling slavery.
That's a big challenge.
It is, and the article does a great job
Okay.
of showing all the different sides of this issue.
Uh-huh.
You've got the resistance movements working in secret.
Yeah.
You've got powerful slaver guilds
Right.
who want to keep things the way they are.
Of course.
And you even have gods who are tied to this system of oppression.
Wow. So it's like,
It's complicated.
yeah, it's not just like good versus evil.
Exactly. There are so many shades of gray
Yeah.
and conflicting motivations, and every decision you make could have huge consequences.
It's like every choice matters.
It really does.
That's intense.
It is, and that's what makes it so compelling.
Yeah.
It makes you think critically about everything you do
Yeah,
and how it impacts the world around you.
for sure.
And the article actually asks the reader directly,
Right.
like, how would you approach this fight?
As a player, that's a good question.
It gets to the heart of what the campaign is all about.
Right, because there are no easy answers.
Exactly. And every choice you make
Yeah.
could change everything.
That's what we are going to be looking at in this deep dive.
Getting into all the details.
The complexities of Guardians of the Flame.
And how this campaign makes you think about injustice.
And fight for a better world.
Exactly.
I'm excited to dig in.
Me too. This is going to be good.
Okay, so we've talked about how this Guardians of the Flame campaign is more than just like typical D&D stuff.
Right, it's got these bigger themes.
Yeah, like facing real social issues.
Exactly, it's about slavery and injustice.
Yeah, making choices that actually matter.
And dealing with the consequences.
So where do the players even begin with all that?
That's where the Creating a New Haven section comes in.
Oh, okay.
I really like this part.
Yeah.
The players get to create a sanctuary.
Okay.
Like a safe place for escaped slaves.
A place of hope.
Yeah, a beacon of hope in this dark world.
That's a really cool idea.
And the article gives some location options.
Oh, like what?
Well, you could have like a hidden glade in the forest.
Oh, that's cool.
Or a fortified keep in the mountains.
Okay. Like a stronghold.
Yeah, exactly. Or even like an abandoned temple.
Oh, wow. Repurposed.
Yeah, but it's not just about picking a cool spot on the map.
Right. There's more to it.
It's about the players' values.
Okay.
What kind of society are they building?
Oh, so it's like a reflection of their ideals.
Exactly. What laws will they have? What customs will they follow?
Right.
It's their chance to actually put those ideals into practice.
So it's like they're building a model
In a way.
of the world they want to see.
Yeah, a contrast to the oppressive society around them.
It's a powerful statement.
It really is, and it opens up so many role-playing possibilities.
Yeah. Thinking about how they would run this haven.
And speaking of role-playing, the article also talks about the campaign world and allies and enemies sections.
Oh, yeah. Those are important.
They really flesh out the setting. Yeah.
And give you a sense of the different forces involved.
Exactly. So you have these really vivid descriptions of places like the City of Chains.
Okay.
Which is like the center of the slave trade.
Oh, wow. So that's like...
A pretty dark place.
Yeah, I bet.
And then you have places like the Hidden Valley.
Okay.
Which is a refuge for people seeking freedom.
Oh, wow. So a complete contrast.
Yeah, and it shows the different challenges that players will face.
Like, depending on where they are.
Like in the city, they might have to be sneaky.
Yeah, like stealth and stuff.
Exactly.
But in the wilderness, there are different dangers.
Right, like wild animals or slavers trying to track them down.
So it's like a different kind of challenge.
And then there are all the allies and enemies to consider.
Yeah, all the different characters.
The article mentions everything from like disgraced nobles
who
secretly support the resistance.
Oh, wow.
To like brutal slaver generals who are determined to crush any opposition.
So it's a real mix of people.
Yeah. It is a whole cast of characters, each with their own motivations and goals.
Right. So the players have to figure out
who to trust, who to fight against.
Like a complex web of relationships.
Exactly. And that leads us to the personal journey section. Which I think is one of the most interesting parts of the campaign.
Oh, why is that?
It's not just about this external conflict.
Right, like the fight against slavery.
Exactly. It's about the internal struggles that each character faces.
So like their own personal growth.
Yeah. The article gives this example of a pacifist character who's suddenly in this world where violence seems unavoidable.
Oh, wow. So it's like a real moral dilemma.
Yeah. How do they reconcile their beliefs with the need to fight for freedom?
Right.
It's the kind of question that leads to really powerful role-playing moments.
I can see that.
And it's not just about pacifism.
Right. There could be other internal conflicts.
Exactly. Like, imagine a character who grew up with privilege. And now they have to confront the reality of slavery.
Oh, wow. That would be a huge shock.
Yeah. Or a character who has to make tough choices that compromise their own morals for the greater good.
So it's like those tough decisions.
Yeah, the ones where there's no easy answer.
That's really interesting.
And it's those personal journeys
Yeah.
that make the campaign so compelling.
Right. It's not just about saving the world.
It's about how those experiences change the characters themselves.
Yeah, how they grow and evolve.
And ultimately who they become.
Yeah, it's really cool how the campaign brings together those like personal stories.
Yeah.
With the big fight against slavery.
It's like those internal battles reflect the real struggles people face with injustice.
Right, like, do you stand up and fight?
Even if it means risking everything.
Yeah, or do you try to just survive?
In a system that's broken.
That's something I think about a lot.
Yeah.
Even though it's like a fantasy setting.
Right.
it still makes me think about my own values.
I get that.
And that's what I love about these games. They give us a way to explore these issues.
In a safe space.
Yeah, and to see how our values hold up.
And the article lays out all these different ways that your values can be tested in the Guardians of the Flame campaign.
Okay.
It talks about all the challenges you might face.
Like what kind of challenges?
Well, like defending a slave caravan from an attack.
Okay.
Or infiltrating a slaver compound.
Wow. So like a stealth mission.
Exactly. Or even negotiating with corrupt officials.
So it's not just about fighting.
Right.
It's about using every tool you have.
Yeah, diplomacy, stealth, your knowledge of the world.
To achieve your goals.
And what I find interesting is that the article doesn't say there's only one way to win.
Right. There's no single path.
It acknowledges that there might be sacrifices, and sometimes even the best efforts might not be enough.
That's a really important point.
Yeah, and that's reflected in the endgame section.
Okay.
Talks about all the different ways the campaign could end.
Oh, like what are some examples?
Well, you could have a total victory over the slavers.
Okay.
Or a bittersweet success with lasting consequences.
Wow.
Or even the possibility of failure.
So even if you lose,
there
can still be hope.
Exactly. Even if you don't achieve everything you set out to do, your actions can still inspire others.
To keep fighting.
Right, to carry on the struggle.
It's like planting a seed that will eventually grow into something bigger.
And that leads us to the idea of legacy.
Okay.
Which I think is a perfect way to sum up the campaign's impact.
Like how your actions have lasting effect.
Exactly, even after the game is over.
The world is different.
Because of what you did.
The article even mentions that the haven the players built could inspire a wider revolution later on.
Right. It might start small,
but
it could have huge consequences.
So this Guardians of the Flame campaign,
it's more than just a game.
It's a way to explore real issues.
Yeah.
To challenge ourselves.
And to think about what it means to fight for a better world.
It's about using our imaginations to make a difference.
And even if you never play this campaign, just thinking about these questions is valuable.
I agree.
So to all our listeners out there, we want to hear from you.
What would you do?
If you were transported into Guardians of the Flame,
how would you fight slavery?
Would you rescue individuals?
You build a haven?
Or take a more direct approach?
So many possibilities.
We're excited to hear your thoughts.
So head down to the comments.
And let us know.
We love reading your comments.
And a big thank you to LitRPG Reads and Paul Bellow
for this amazing article.
We'll have a link in the show notes.
So you can check it out yourself.
Until next time.
Keep rolling those dice.